guys, this is Nick from ReviewOutlaw.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Malibu Wakesetter 24-foot. It's an MXZ. Just got it. 2018. Got it with 0 hours on it. I'm just going to go through the whole thing with you. Kind of compare it to the Axis 2014, which is what I had previously.
ReviewOutlaw.com. New videos every Thursday at 3 p.m. Subscribe today.
So let's just look at the metal flake. We got the blue metal flake. Really like the look, and the sun itself looks awesome. We went with black on the bottom. I like black. It doesn't show as much stains or anything like that compared to white. It's got the dock lights in the front. It's got a front ladder. The biminy's all new. The speaker system's all new. I'm going to go right through the whole thing. And I'm going to start off with the back, actually. Alright, so let's look at the swim platform first. I do like the color on the back here. They added the exhaust. So I can show you the exhaust down here. So underneath here we have the exhaust prop. They added a camera back here, which is really cool. I'm going to show you that in the display. And then this hook is nice and strong. The system right here to hook up tow ropes and things like that. Typical cleats. Of course, you have the Wakesurf system here. Now it is a bit slower than the Axis 2014 to open and to, well, actually opening seems fast, closing slower. So when you're turning the wheel, that's something that I have noticed, a slower turn probably. So I'm not sure, I guess so the pumps last longer. They did the stainless steel cup holders back here, which is really nice. These pop up, which I like a lot. So you can actually put life jackets down here, grab them quick. You have access to the bags and access to the engine compartment, which is very nice. You have some intake for the blowers, for gas, for fume buildup. Another seat back here, of course this one pops up as well, which I really like as well. There is a middle seat walk. So if, depending on how you get in the boat, pull this up and you could take this out and you could basically walk in and out of the boat this way and not put any things on your pads. Now I generally walk in this sideway here, so I just have a little welcome mat here so no one scuffs up the cushions. Again, the ballast bags, these are the plug and play. These came with it. They're 550s. Now here you have your stock ballast system, and I'm going to go over the ballast weights a little bit later, but basically this fills this together, and in the computer system it sees once this is at 100% and it actually stops. So it's a really neat feature of the Malibu the Axis did not have. Same thing with this side. You know, it fills up, and these are actually much better as well. These little things, much harder surfaces. The issue with the Axis was that this ballast bag would actually push in towards the engine and actually kind of push the plastic in. So they made much higher quality here. I really do like the quality they went inside here with. They put speakers all over the place here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, subwoofer, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up here, 11, 12, and 13. So 13 speakers or 12 speakers in the sub. So a lot of speakers, very, very high quality audio system. These are the bigger speakers here. I believe they're 10-inch as opposed to the 8-inch. The only downside with getting the 10-inch speaker systems is if you have the 8-inch, you can put a tow hook here and you can pull people up. When you go with the larger speakers, you don't have the tow hook, but they do have the front lights. Rear lights and front lights here, which is cool. You have a little bit of a trash system right here, so you can throw cups and things like that, and it empties into This little trash compartment here, so you get drinks and things like that. A lot of storage under here. I do like these hinge system. Before we didn't have that on the Axis, so it just keeps everything nice and neat and not falling in. Throw my tow lines back here. You have this little kick seat up plate here, so you can lounge back and watch some surfing. And this is also much higher quality metal right here compared to the Axis. Much stronger aluminum, so it doesn't rust. This is cool, this little kicker seat here. So what this does is you pull this up and it sits like this, and then you can kick this back and you can watch them surf. You can watch them surf from here. It's a great seat just to chill and watch and hang out. You have some drain holes down here, which is good if you get water in here that goes down, that'll bilge out the bottom. You have access to the engine compartment down here. So if you want to, replace anything or check for leaks. This is kind of neat. This is a strainer, so you can already see some things in the strainer that get sucked through, seaweed, things like that. You can take that strainer out, clean it out, rinse it out. Also, you go into salt water. You have a hookup right here for a hose, so you can flush your whole system, your engine, if you hooked up the hose, which is cool. This is freshwater lake, so wouldn't be using that too much, but it's nice to have that option. Let me kick up so you can look at the engine. So what we have here is we have the Inmar 450 6.2 liter monsoon engine. Now that you would think that means 450 horsepower, because we had the 450 Corvette engine and that meant 450 horsepower. This is not actually 450 horsepower. Something about like torque liters or something like that. It's actually a 400 horsepower engine, yet they call it the 450. I don't like that they did that. I'd prefer they just stick with the actual horsepower and not do these kind of weird sneaky name changes. They did change the prop on this one to be a larger prop, so you do plane quicker. And but I just wish they would have actually just called it the horsepower that it is. Don't mess with the numbers and try to be sneaky. But everything's very easily accessible here. Fluids, oil change. If you want to do an oil change, it's very simple, very easy to do, very accessible. So that I do like. Let's put this back down again. More storage on this. I throw my life jackets under this side. Another seat you can kick up. Let's sit in the back. Here we can take the seat off, and this is where we have batteries. We got dual batteries in here, which is the same as the Axis. And then more storage down here. Now they actually come with 2 amps. Got my cover right now covering it. I got 2 amps right here, which is pretty cool. Amp 1 and amp 2, and then the Sirius XM up here too, which I just use Spotify, so a lot of storage in it. This is a huge cover, very high quality cover. The cover holds a bit different than the other one. It actually hangs from up here, so there's 2 little hooks that hang from this thing, which is different. So the mirror here, this is a very nice mirror. I like the swivel here. You can actually adjust this, loosen that, and it swivels us back and forth. So depending where you want it, you can move that. That's pretty sweet. This glass, they did a much better job with this. See, they left a bit of a space here. Let me see if I can show you here. So see how there's space here? On the old one, it would actually get tight in some spots, and you couldn't close the window all the way. So they must have thought of that and added a big space here, so you don't have to worry about that. And just the overall glass design, much higher end. Just nicer edges, nicer finish. Huge up here. Now, one thing originally I didn't know if I'd like or not, it has these little hand rests. That's kind of cool. But one thing I didn't know if I'd like or not was the other one you could actually walk up and you didn't have this step up pad. It took a couple days to get used to, but now that I have it, I do like it. You can just sit in here. You know, I'm about 6 feet, but the feet don't reach the end. But you easily fit 3 people up here, maybe 4. So this underneath here before was storage. I ended up just putting a plug and play ballast in my Access, but this has a hard tank. So you have your water tanks, ballast system right here. I actually kind of like that better. You have some storage here, anchor storage up here, which is cool. I throw an anchor up here just in case something happens and I got to drop it down. And you have, this is nice, this little pad up here and a ladder if you want to beach it, which is really sweet. Access didn't have that. Then you have more storage in here, so it's just storage upon storage upon storage, which is great. You have your battery control here. You can go to AB, switch back and forth. That's before that was inside, so they changed that to a better location. Okay, we got a lot of storage in here. Actually, you put some USB things, USB storage, 9-volt storage in here, which is pretty sweet. You can just, I charge in my GoPro batteries, keep those charging. Let's go look at the tower. So, the tower, really like the new design tower. Actually, we can put our ropes right here. So we keep our ropes for wake surfing right in here and just leave the rope attached up here. As you can see, some additional board storage. We put 2 boards here, 2 boards on the 2 sides, and another 2 boards here. And these are new design too. These are very expensive if you want to get more of them. But the way they work is you push these in and then it unlocks, as you can see right here. And then when you tighten it, it pulls it down and it puts it tighter. Much better than the old style. Pulls the boards nice and secure. So I really like that feature. And then additional storage up here. The only issue sometimes is when you're getting pulled, there's a bit of tension coming down on here, but as soon as the wake surfer starts going, the tension comes back up here. But just initially, sometimes when you're initially dragging, there's a bit of a rub here. So just be aware of that. Go over, and there's a LED light, the very top up here, that's your anchor light. You're gonna anchor up. You can also pivot this whole thing up and down. There's this piston right here turns. And also there's another one on this side. And literally this whole thing can fold down. One person, can hold this and just pull this whole thing down. And it comes down very easily, very soft. It's a job one person can do, which is cool. All right, so that's the main thing. Let's go to the instruments, the seating panel, the fun stuff. So we have a power seat here. We can go up and down with it. Usually I would go to the top position when you're driving a wake surfer just because your nose is very high. So before I used to have to add a booster seat. With this new seat, I don't have to worry about that. Oh, also we got heat all over the place here. We have 1, 2, 3, and a 4th heat spot here. And this pulls right out and you got your heat. Put that under a towel and that's pretty nice. We can reset. You got your different fuses here. You can adjust your steering wheel up or down. Controls much nicer too. This actually is heated seats as well. So there's a heat wire inside here. In addition to the heat blowing under you here and over here, the seat is also heated. So those cold mornings that you're coming in New England weather, we have a lot of cold mornings. It's nice to have that going. So to turn it on, hit this power button right here. And you see it'll say booting up. It takes about 30 seconds to boot up. It is a bit of a slow boot up system compared to iPads nowadays where you're just used to hitting one button and it always being on. This does take a bit to turn on. I'm going to show you, this is a separate control system. You can control it from the LCD screen or this right here. So it's quick keys. The only thing we notice sometimes is if you lean against this, it mutes the audio and you don't realize it. You kind of have to figure out what's going on. So it's going to turn on the blower by itself every time you turn the boat on, which is nice, just so you don't have to think about it. Let's turn that off though. There's always coming up, push OK for a safety radio. You just have to push that OK every time. All right, so let's sit down, go through the whole display, all the buttons. I love my buttons here. So we have night mode. This is if it's nighttime, it's too bright. Most of the time of the day, it's fine on this. And driving at night, it is very hard to see because that glare. So actually, you're better off standing up and looking over the screen because your night vision gets severely impaired by that. 0 off. This is if you want to switch to a paddle wheel. So if you were up a river or something like that, you could switch from GPS to paddle wheel. For the most part, you want to be on GPS though. If you're on a normal lake. Then we have our speed. Goes up to, it says it goes up to 60 here. Top speed on this is about 40 miles per hour. You lose some speed because of the bigger prop. You're gonna get out of the hole, you're gonna plane faster, but you're gonna lose some speed on the top end. We don't normally cruise fast anyway, maybe at the end of the day when you're going back to the dock, but besides that, we're mainly wake surfing. You have air temperature, water temperature here with a depth sensor, which is nice. It says it's 4 feet. That's pretty accurate. You have your surf gate left, center, right. One thing with the surf gate is if you forget it to the right or to the left and you're trying to drive home, it is very hard to turn it one way. Just the boat just does not want to move. And at the beginning, we're like, what's going on? Why can't I turn this thing? It's because it was either the right or left. So make sure you turn it back to center if you're going to cruise back slowly to your dock. After you've been wake surfing. Next, you have this gauge. We can see all the ballast system that's set at 0. You can auto highlight each one and choose if you want to go to a certain size, 25%, and hit fill or stop. Stop those individually. You have your speed control here. You can turn that on manually, set your different speed here. It's 20 miles per hour, so you can auto adjust that. The easier way to do all this though is load presets. So you go to here, and you can go like Paul's wave. We've set this up for him, and we'll hit load. Okay, and so what that's doing is it sets the speed at this speed. It set it to a left wave, which is a regular wave. It set the power wedge down to a ramp style, and it was starting to autofill, but I'm on the lift, so I don't want to start doing that, so I just hit stop all. But it would fill all these to 100%. And you can customize each one of those presets to what you want. The wedge, they say this adds up to about 1,500 pounds of additional ballast. I'm going to show you the bottom. It's something that goes up and down. And that does dramatically adjust the wave size and these different things like that. And that's one of my favorite features of the new Power Wedge 2. Before we'd manually have to click the wedge down. This new one, we can control it automatically. And now they have the Power Wedge 3 in the new 2020s. Not too much of a difference. They just changed some of the zones a bit around, but it still just moves up and down like the other ones. You got your RPMs here. Go home mode's great for when you're done for the day. You hit go home, empties all the bags, puts you back to center, resets all the cruise controls. Let's push these buttons again. We had the presets, wakeboard. That's going to set you to like 20 miles per hour, different speeds, things like that. And you can play some videos and stuff like that. I don't really use that. What I do use is the rear cam a lot. So if you're surfing or you're driving someone who's surfing, you can look at that rear camera, and as you're driving, you can see them fall. Of course, you always want to look in the mirror as well up here, and it's a nice wide view, so you get a good view of them. Another thing they changed, which I do like, is this thing. Before used to have a tower right here with access. They've pushed the tower way, way, way back, so you get a nice panoramic view, right, as you're looking around. Really nothing interfering with your view the whole way back, which I like. All right, so that's pretty much everything on this screen. You got your fuel consumption. I have noticed that this thing does eat a lot more fuel than the Corvette 450. It might be the fact that there's a bigger prop. It might be the fact that there's another 1,000 pounds. Dry weight, this is 5,500 pounds. Dry weight, the Axis was 4,500 pounds, so you have 1,000 pounds extra. That, of course, is going to eat more gas. It might be the fact that we're using it a lot more than we were before. You also have to put higher premium fuel in. The Axis, you just put regular unleaded. This one, you put a bit of a higher level grade, but it does burn fuel fast. We're already at 32 hours, and maybe we're only 2 weeks into having this thing, so we're going through a lot. You got your voltage, oil pressure, engine temp. You always want to kind of keep an eye on those and know what they are. So if they spike too high or too low, you stop and you figure out what's going on. Check your different stuff. All right. Second screen. Now on the new 2020s, they've moved these probably because so many people, if you bump this, I'll show you what happens here. It actually mutes this right here. So it turns this a different color. They should have changed this logo on this screen because this is kind of stupid. This is not muted, this is muted. It still has an X across it, which is dumb. All off, turns all these buttons off. We can put the heaters on, high, low, and then off. Seat heater, that's an electric heater in the seat. Front bilge on manually, and aft bilge on manually. And then the blower, of course, for gas fumes. And then you just hit all off to turn them all off. We have the volume control here. You can manually go up. You can also twist this to raise the volume. And then adjust that. The volume is a bit confusing because you click it again, it goes internal volume, then tower volume, then main volume. Let's go to the music. First you have to power this on every time. I just wish that would kind of auto turn on by itself, but it's probably because of the amps and the electricity it uses. I can understand why it doesn't. Do that. But we have the mixer here. We have auto volume. This is when you're driving. If you wanted to lower the volume when you're into neutral, I always set this about 5 so I can hear what people are saying. After you go pick them up, hey, that was a good run, try to do this, try to do that. It lowers the volume, and when you're going again, go fast, it will raise the volume automatically. Interior volumes is interior speakers, tower volume, sub, main. So that's that. You can sync the volume between these two. It has this navigation thing, which is kind of cool. This would be good if you're like an intercoastal or the ocean, you want to use it. I would probably still use an app like Naptronics, just because it has updated weather. This is not constantly updating, but I guess if you're totally lost in the ocean and you wanted to use this thing, you can. And you can even plot a course, which is pretty cool. So it's neat that they have it. I don't never find a need, me personally, to use it, and the size like I am, maybe in Lake Winnipesaukee, I could see there'd be a use for that. Let's go back to the music. So we can go FM, series, Bluetooth is what I mainly use, USB, different audio inputs. You get the weather channel, but let's just choose Bluetooth. It auto connects to your phone, which is great. Let's throw some Spotify on there. And we can actually, it's got a little great place for your phone right here. So it holds it right there. The new model will auto charge. It has a charging plate in the back. This one doesn't. So you can lower the volume. Let's just hear the speaker.
Sometimes I wanna hear the magpies. Too bad they don't sing at midnight. Moonlight, I need.
So volume's pretty good, and you can really get into zone, the treble and the bass and everything like that. In addition to controlling everything on the screen, pushing center, pushing right, you can control it with the buttons here. And that's actually very fast, volume up and down. It's confusing that they mix in the control of the engine with the audio controls, so you have to get used to that. So you push it in, you're gonna mute it, push it in again, unmutes it, left track, right track. Up, though, is gonna increase the speed of the driver. So if I click it up, see it's going 11.2, 11.4. And then there's some buttons here about the power wedge. So you can click power wedge down, power wedge down. But that will auto only kind of move when you're driving the boat in a slow speed, because they don't want anyone's feet to be back there and getting those crushed. All right, so as far as turning the engine on, there's no key again. I'm just going to lower this into the water. Okay, and so you're going to push the button here. Now it asks you to put a code in. You're going to put your start code in. Then it goes back to this, and then you hit start again. And you hold it in until it starts. So the engine noise is much quieter than the Axis. I'd say at least 25% quieter. It's got a good noise to it. It sounds good. And when you want to turn it off, go back, just hold that button down again. You also have some additional storage here, under here in the glove box kind of area. And one of my favorite features is this little hand remote thing. Put this in the sun. So we can control the surf left and right, so you don't have to yell, hey, switch sides. You can actually switch that. We can move the wedge up and down. We can move the speed up and down, volume higher, lower. The only thing about this is you get a little bit lost. So when you start messing with the wedge and the speed, you kind of eventually don't know where you are. Like, all right, maybe I started at 10.8, but I clicked this one 4 times. I clicked this one down. I clicked this one down. Shit, now where am I? I have no idea where I am. So it gets a bit confusing. And sometimes if you put it this way or that way, you kind of figure out what's up and what's down. So you might be clicking the wrong thing. So it's fun to play with, but I would still preset everything with my presets, and then maybe you got like 6-7 people more than you normally have weighted wise, you click the speed up 1 or 2, get that wave a bit longer. Or maybe the wave's too big, so you lower your wedge maybe down once. I like to look at the front of the boat if I'm surfing. If the front of the boat goes up, then I know I've lowered the wedge, and the front of the boat goes down, then I'm raising the wedge, so making that wave smaller. So I kind of look at the boat movement and I can see how this is reacting, and then of course that affects the wave, but it's a little bit delayed. I want to show you underneath here. As you can see, that big thing pointing down, that's your wedge. That's what gives you that extra quasi ballast system. You have some under LED lights down here as well, and the bigger thing for me is this muffler pointing down. You don't have the fumes compared to the Mastercraft or the Axis. There's just no fumes coming up. All the fumes are pushed down in the water, so you don't feel that. The prop is way under here, so you don't have to worry about your feet getting, chopped up or something like that. If you fell down, you got your rudder right here. That is a bigger prop. They just shifted it around and made a bigger prop, so you get that quick out of the water lift, which is nice. I do like how they have much better access to the bilge pump. On the Axis, we had our center bilge go bad, and because you can take this little piece out and access that, that's much easier to replace. With our Axis, it was almost impossible to get in there. You'd have to disassemble or unscrew so much of it that would have been a nightmare to access any of that. So overall, a lot of nice features compared to the Axis. They really increase just the cloth itself, the fabric, upholstery, much nicer. Inside, much nicer. Seating, much nicer. The size is around the same. They're both 24 foot, but the wave itself, I want to go through some of the wave differences, and I'll show you some video of the different waves. It feels like a firmer wave, so when you're trying to pop off the lip, you just get more air. The Axis seems a little bit more squishy, so you can't just get a nice kind of pop off the lip there. Much more control over the wake size is huge. Just more enjoyment riding the waves. I mean, when you look at it on a video and you actually do it in real life, it's two different things. It's kind of tough to see, which ones you're gonna like. So I just recommend going out and demoing these different boats. I demoed the Axis, the Malibu, and the Mastercraft before I settled on the Malibu. I just thought that had by far the best wave. So.
Hey, I really appreciate you watching this video. If you have time, please give me a thumbs up, share the video on Facebook or social media, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get a notification when new videos come out. Finally, if you leave me a comment, I love those. Really appreciate it. Have a great day, guys.